everyone, Chuck Bankoff here for WSI. As part of our interview series, I have with me today my good friend and colleague of many years, Francois Muscat. We've traded digital recipes over the years and have worked together. And Francois, good to have you here, or it's good for me to be here with you. Why don't you get everyone else up to speed? Give us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. It was really great. Well, Chuck's visiting here, and we did an interview for him a little while back in the bush, and this is my turn today. So, yeah, Chuck, I've been working in a bank for 27 years before I started, looking for a business. And I did a lot of IT work, so I got a good technical background. But in my last 3 years of corporate life, I went into sales and marketing. And I think as many people experience, sometimes corporate life, just your shelf life gets up, right? And so it was time for me to leave. Our company didn't do well, and I ended up, that was me out on the street looking for a job. Not that I was desperate, but I was looking forward to a new challenge. So that's how sort of my bit of background here in South Africa, obviously.
But why the internet? Why WSI?
Interesting question. I did a master's degree as part of my banking career, and that was when the internet was just starting around and doing well. So I did a lot of research on there. So I was quite good at searching already in those days. We didn't have Google, but I thought I'll just go and look around and see what is out there, and I came across the WSI franchise, and that's what I said to Mariana. I'm like really disillusioned with corporate life. I think it's time for me to maybe try something on my own. And that started that journey.
Yeah, that kind of mirrors how I got involved with WSI as well. What is the value you get? Because you've been doing this for a while, and sometimes what I found is the value that I get as someone who's been involved for a long time is different. It evolves over time. Right now, what is the value you're getting out of this relationship?
Well, the opportunity that you have with a network is, it's a network itself. It's meeting other consultants like you, Chuck, and many others. So I think the camaraderie that we have in WSI is wonderful. If you try to do this business on your own, you sort of get labeled as being maybe a basement Bob sometimes, because you're pretty much a one-man show and you're trying to do everything, on yourself. So having a network of support and suppliers and the collaboration, I think that's really, what the value I get out of this network.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's the same value that I've been getting over the last few years as my business has evolved as well. Tell us a little bit about the business that you were in before the WSI, your WSI experience.
Well, as I said, I was in banking, and then I went into, I was pushed into a business. It was one of the bank's businesses. It was a disaster recovery company. And they said, well, let's go out and get clients instead of just doing it for our bank. So that was my first experience in trying to get new clients. I was a technical guy, as I said. So we created quite a successful business in about 2-3 years that it was sold into another company. So I went to this, it's an IT company, very sales related. And from there, I could use my background. So when I left that business, I had a good idea of technical and project management, but I also had a good idea of how to deal with clients. So I think that did me good.
Yeah, and I really sympathize with your disillusionment with the corporate life, because I had the same thing. But I mean, is there anyone who kind of influenced you into starting your own business? Give you that little push?
Yeah, well, I've got to say, I didn't get a push from anybody. I think I'm a person that pushes myself, unfortunately. So when I found it, I just thought, maybe there's something to this internet and website type of business, and I didn't know enough about it. So I spoke to my wife, Mariana, who's, she worked with us, and she's really technical. And she was hesitant, obviously, because, we come out of a corporate environment where you felt secure to a certain extent. But we were getting on in age, so I was 48 years old when I decided to do this. And so I took the plunge, and if you think about buying something on the internet, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You buy a franchise on the internet. It's amazing. So I think WSI really had a good marketing strategy, how to get digital, into that environment. So I haven't looked back.
Well, and how long have you been with WSI?
Well, it's 15 years now, Chuck.
Okay,
I think I'm
rookie.
becoming.
Rookie.
I'm still a rookie. Becoming one of the originals, right? So Chuck, you've been around 20 odd years, so it's good. But I think being in business for that long, when you start, you get told that new businesses, a lot of them fail in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
So I think just having a good business background beforehand, that really helped me.
Yeah, well, what does your typical work week look like?
Well, my work week now revolves around my grandchildren. So I'm lucky we're pushing hard to it. I mean, we really work hard, but what I like to do is look at what activities are happening with them during the week, and I block those out of my diary.
Right.
So my typical work week will wake up in the morning and I'll do some emails. Definitely, I like to be responsive on my emails, and then I will go onto LinkedIn and just see what's happening there, because I'm a big fan of LinkedIn as a way of developing relationships and actually doing good business on LinkedIn. So I'll do that in the morning, and then I'll try and plan all my client meetings between 10 and 2 o'clock, during the day, with its meetings and obviously new client prospecting. And then in the afternoon, I'll normally be taking the grandchildren. I'll pick them up from school. Mariana will, and they are busy kids, right? So they've got guitar lessons, they're cross-country running, and dancing and everything like that. So between the two of us, we have a lot of fun. And then, of course, we get back in the evenings, and we have to put in some extra hours,
Right.
trying to finish your proposals and that. And of course, I'm quite involved in the network and training, and I do a lot of webinars, for WSI.
Right.
So all in all, it seems like it's a busy day, but it works around my lifestyle.
Yeah, and it sounds like you successfully integrated your personal life with your business life. And I think that's one of the things that I felt really comfortable with early on, was that gray area. Am I actually working now, or am I doing personal things? Because work, when you own a business like this, just becomes part of your
That's right.
your overall lifestyle. So that really came across well there. What would you say your highlights were? With WSI.
Highlights. I had to push really hard to meet people like you, right? So in the beginning, being in South Africa and starting a new business, and Americans and Canadians, they were like already into this, and I didn't have anybody to learn from. So I reached out to people like you, and just worked hard, And my promise to them was, help me, and then I'm going to give back, So the highlights that I've had is I've had a lot of award recognitions, much like you, where you contribute towards the network,
Right.
help people, and I find it just keeps coming back to you. So every global convention that I go to, I enjoy it when I have the opportunity to be on stage.
Right.
You and I, we did Master of Ceremonies a couple of years back. That was just really fantastic. And I like to bring in a bit of my the traveling. I mean, the traveling opportunities has been incredible. I mean, here you are, Chuck.
Yeah, here I am.
Both of us on a wine farm here in South Africa, Cape Town. And we were doing emails this morning and doing some work, but we had to fit in a bit of a wine tasting. And so you can't switch off, right? You end up being connected 24/7.
Yeah.
But you can do it from anywhere, and that's that's the part that I like.
Yeah, that's the gray area I was talking about at the end. Are you working, or are you having fun?
That's
well,
right.
kind of doing both.
Yeah, so it's a very it's a very rich life that you can achieve, obviously, when you get it all working. And we have family business. My wife works very involved, and my daughter runs the business. And the other highlight that I've had is also being part of the opportunity to write a contributing chapter to our book. We've just done the third one. So it really, as a network and being part of WSI, if you use it, okay, and take advantage of the friendships and the network, you can get what you want.
Yeah, obstacles. We all have obstacles, in our business. What were some of the ones that were in front of you, and how did you overcome those?
Well, in the beginning, I came from a corporate background, so it was quite difficult to get into entrepreneur mode, right? Because 30 years in a corporate environment, very strict processes, I'm creative, but I found getting new clients in the beginning was a challenge. So I just went out and I networked at every opportunity I could. So I was just looking at meeting people, and early on I quickly found out that if I could be speaking to a number of people at once, that would be the best use of my time. So I did a lot of teaching and speaking, and just sit around a table and just share ideas. But today, making sure that our recurring revenue covers our cost is key. So we've managed to get that going.
Well, I've known you for a number of years, as we said, and I know one of your best skills is speaking and teaching. What other skills do you think you really bring to this job?
Well, to the business, it's really, much like you, I think I'm a creative person, not so much with like design and that, but certainly in coming up with something different. So this business, there's a lot of people out here. It's quite a heavily traded business, digital marketing. So, if you can differentiate yourself, you can get somewhere. So I've really focused on, speaking, training, and teaching. And I use LinkedIn as my, as the way to get leads. And then that generates into, more business. So I think creativity is coming up with like a competitor analysis, digital marketing strategies and such.
Right. Thinking, I'm going to call this short term at this point. What kind of goals have you set for yourself over the next 12 months?
Well, what I've been trying to do, because we play so hard, we're still going to work that hard. I've been trying to, Tim Ferriss, he talks about the 4 hour
work week.
The 4 hour work week. Well, I'm trying to do a 4 day off in the work. So try and have a 4 day weekend if I can, Friday to Monday. And just go and do what I need to do, and then work 3 days a week. But that's not happening yet. I've got to get the rest of my team up to speed with me. So I really try and spend time putting in systems, much like we've been learning about enterprise operating system,
right?
So that you can put what you know on paper and help the team go forward with it. So that's my next goal in the next year is actually systematizing what's going on.
Well, thinking out a little bit in the future, how would your goals stack up over those, say, next 5 years?
Right. Well, I'm going to keep traveling, certainly traveling, South Africa as much as I can. I don't see myself stopping work. I think from that perspective, I really enjoy what I do, but I want to take a bit of a background, and I'll get more involved with search engine optimization and content writing, as opposed to being in the forefront of selling at that time.
Right. So, what advice would you give to a new franchisee, a new consultant?
Well, I found it early on that if you get carried away and rush into big projects, they can suck your time out, right? And if you don't have the background or the skills, and you take on a big website project or e-commerce project, it could take 9 months to get that thing delivered, and you find your funnel, your sales funnel, is empty when the time comes to get more money in. So I think my advice would be to learn how to sell the things that you can implement and deliver quickly. Things like Google AdWords, Facebook ads, SEO. Learn how to sell, turn those over, and then slowly build yourself, with confidence. The other thing is use people like myself and Chuck. Partner with the other top 25 consultants, because they're willing, and you can really learn, really well from them. And then the other thing is take advantage of the regional training. You've just been traveling the world now, sharing your digital marketing blueprint, and global convention is awesome, good training. So I would say use the network, to help you get on your feet.
Yeah. And now for like a fun question, because I have no idea what you're going to say, is what is your personal motto?
Oh, my personal motto, being a Virgo, I always want to get something like perfect. So, in my team, I say we don't accept second best. So sometimes people say, what do you mean by that? So I'm saying, well, if you've done something and it doesn't look good enough, just do it again. Do it properly. We got to stand out. And my wife often talks about it when I cook. If I cook a meal and it doesn't work, I dump it and I start again. So, not accepting second best is my motto.
Okay, so now I'm going to check you out for consistency, okay? Right? Because I've been to a number of happy hours with you.
Right.
So if we were at happy hour right now, what would you order?
Now, Chuck, I cannot lie to you because I think we've had 16 happy hours since you've been here.
Yeah.
And I think I've only had one Jack Daniels, right? So I'm sort of known for having a good collection of Jack Daniels. And I would normally say, happy hour, I do Jack. But it's only maybe with one or two of my fishing friends. So I'm really a red wine person at heart. So even I don't do the cocktails. Thank you for testing me out on the martinis.
Yes.
But I'll stick to red wine there.
Okay, all right. We have to have that balance there.
do.
All right, I'll take care of the vodka. You take care of the wine. Okay. All right. If you could be anywhere, right, except for right here with me right now, where would that be?
Yeah, Chuck. So, like, I knew this was going to be asked because this is the questions we ask everyone. You're like, where would you be? And I must say that I'm everywhere I want to be right now. Like, I'm really enjoying this time with you. And here I am on a wine farm. It's a working wine farm, so that's why we have a bit of noise. A week ago, we were on a bush farm at a game view. Our next stop could be the beach. So I'm very fortunate. I'm not looking for something that I cannot achieve right now. I'm actually having a lot of fun. And by the way, there goes a chicken.
What do they call that when someone sticks their head? We were photobombed by a rooster. So, well, that's great. I mean, I'm really enjoying my time here with you, Francois, getting to know you even better than I've known you before, and appreciate this opportunity just to sit down and talk with you.
Thank you, Chuck. I really appreciate you. Thanks for doing this interview with me.
All right,
Thank you. Bye, everyone.